Now, the hook I'm using is a Kamasan. It's a B175 size 10. Thread I'm going to be using is the uni thread 80 and fire orange. Now I'm simply going to start the thread at the eye. Controlling the thread turns with the waste piece of thread, just put a layer of thread down the shank. Stop the thread just in line with the barb of the hook, and then remove the waste piece. Now I'm going to put a small tag on the fly. This here is old gold, very strong yellow tinsel. Now I'm just going to form a tag using, this is a kind of medium size. And all I'm going to do is take the thread round the bend and come back up. So just then wind up, forming a nice tag. Cross your thread. Oops, what's the point of the hook? And take away the waste. Now I'm cutting that quite short. Normally if I was doing say a tinsel body, I'd have it right up here so that I'd keep the body nice and even. A small crease there, so I'm just going to rub it with the finger. Sometimes you get a small crease in the tinsel as you come round, especially that, it's the bend area. But what I'm going to do to protect this, I'm going to use some Bug Bond for speed. This is the light. All you need is a small drop, you don't need a lot. And then using my dubbing needle, I'll just take it round the shank, around the body. Just want a fine layer. And then hit it with the UV light, and that's it. Solid. Only takes a few seconds for it to set. So that feels that. It's good. For the tail I've actually a mix of Glow Bright flosses, number 2, number 8 and number 5, and there's 6 strands of each colour in this, and all I do is basically brush them together, rub on my leg and just brush these out so that they tangle up and form a nice blender colour. Then all you have to do is square it up, tie on the top. Now you're leaving a small area round about, say, I'm using a small muddler head in this case, round about 2 mil from the eye. All I'm going to do is tie this on full length of the body, taking the thread up, making sure it's well tied down, and then come in the length of the body is the length of the tail to balance it out. Slightly puff it up. The rib, just a gold oval tinsel, a small. When you catch it in on the way back down, just get it on the side. Just work your way down. That point there. Now, I've got a mix here of seal's fur. I've got a fluorescent orange and a pink blended together, which will form the body. Dab it onto your thread. And then work your way up. Nice. A couple of turns or so at the back. See where it's starting. And then we actually work your way up. Just forming a nice shape. Keeping the seal's fur tight as you go. That's fine. Now for the body hackle, I'm using, this is a coral Chinese neck. I'm taking one of the feathers away. It's a Chinese cock, so it's quite a stiff fibre. Just going to catch that on the side, screw it down, and then take away the excess. Now I'm going to use a fine pair of hackle pliers just to wind this down. Now, to be honest with you, don't be too shy with the length of the fibre on the hackle. especially on a sort of muddler fly. I like the hackle to be reasonably long, at least to the end of the tail. Come across your rib and then bring your rib up through. Looking probably 45 or so turns. Yeah, break off the tip, keeping hold of the rib, just bring it up against the thread, put a nice 90-degree bend into it. Then trim away your excess. In this case it's the full length of the area where you're going to have a tying the muddler head. Just go down and then come back up. Just keeping everything nice and smooth. Now what I'm going to do here is bring some of the seal's fur out and into the hackle. Just roughing it up. And then, just to give it a bit more natural colour, this here's a natural brown. This is an Indian cape, just a cheap Indian cape. Now, looking at a hackle length or fibre length that reaches towards the back, again, I just like the length. You can get the length by just putting the stem up at the area, in line with the area where you're going to wind it, and it'll give you the length of the hackle. Just take away the fluff. And again, just all the way down. Usually break this off, come back up. Nice and tight. Just 2 or 3 turns. Now I've pre-waxed the thread. I've run through a yard or so with the wax so I can keep tying. Don't have to go back or stop. Just pick away the point, thread back up. Again, you could just blend this into the rest of the fly. Now, to be honest with you, that's a nice fly in itself there. You could stop at that, obviously, with the dressing further up. But you see, it makes a nice colour combination. The brown, just to me, adds a bit more natural colour to it, just dampens down the colour a wee bit. Now, I'm going to add some legs onto it. Now, this was a bleached, just a bleached feather I bought. It's a Vineyards. It was in a Vineyards packet, but it was a very good pheasant tail. It is in good order. The tips they're not broken, but I've dyed it a fluorescent orange. Put in a fluorescent orange Vineyard dye, and just at the end I've added a bit of hot orange just to slightly deepen the colour, as you can see there. Now I've taken a few fibres off and then knotted them. Basically two fibres tied together, which is quite heavy, but basically I think it suits this. You need a bit of colour, or add more colour to it. You could reduce it to 4, which I don't think it would do too much or make too much difference to the fly. But the length, you're looking just to the back of the tail. You can have them all the way around, or you can just make it. I'm just putting one on the side. Now you could put 2 or 3 loose turns at this point, and then you could spend a bit of time, move them around, get them to sit, get the shape or what you like in the fly, and if you're happy then you just tighten up. Just need the thread up, coming back down, and then you can basically break these off, which will give you a nice neat cut. Don't try and break them all at the same time. There we are. Now this is an accident when I was dyeing some deer hair. This is a piece of natural white deer hair, and I was dyeing it Sunburst, which you'd got in the tips there, but I put it in actually dry. It was just for speed. But what's happened when I dye or get the colour Sunburst, it's fluorescent yellow, then I add a fluorescent red, and it's taken in different stages. The tips are more the fluorescent yellow, centres more, it's like a fluorescent orange, and then the lighter tips is here is a light, it's a kind of coral, the peach. It's quite a nice colour, and it makes a really nice fly, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. All I'm going to do is take some of the deer hair off and form a collar, or a small collar with the points. Now you could stack them if you want. If you look at this, look at the colour of the ends. They make a great muddler head. So what I'm going to do is cut these and lay them on my desk. got the ends with the colour, just because I don't want to waste it. There's my collar, which I'm just going to offer. And then with a couple of loose turns, bring it all the way around. You're looking for this just towards the ends of the tips of the natural red hackle. And then bring the thread turns through. Now I don't normally I'll try and keep these long so I can manage them a wee bit better, but when you've got something you've dyed and it's a mistake, you want to use it up. I'm trying to save the material. Now this is the deer here, the bottom part of the deer here, which I'm going to form the muddler head. Now depending where you want it, if I want to colour at the tips, I tie it in a wee bit closer. I do a couple of turns again, and then just allow the fibres to rotate around the hook shank. Get 2 or 3 tight turns in, always keep the thread nice and tight, don't let it go. Lock all these in, tidy up the head. You'll always miss one or two. It's much easier if you can actually use the full length, but as I said, I only have a small piece of that. I don't want to try and use it all up. Quick finish. Come in, trim away your thread. Now, just come in at this point here and lift the cut ends out 90 degrees from the actual shank of the hook. Now, depending on how tight you want the head, basically is how you want to cut it really. If you want it quite big or small. Now I'm just going to go with the angle of the eye, come around with a curved pair of scissors, which I like to use to form the head. And then just work my way around. Now you can be really fussy with this, it's up to yourself, but to be honest with you, the fish don't mind if it's a wee bit rough. Now the blend of colour there is really nice, and just thought you'd like to see what it looked like. Just take your time. That's fine. Now I've got a couple of styles tied. Just clean the brush. I'm just going to brush this so that it's sitting some way so you can see all the colour. If you the odd missed, broken or cut fibre, you can come in and take them out. I don't think it'd make too much of a difference. There's a big one there, so I'll just take it away. And there we are. It's a nice pattern. Just work your way around. And there we are. Now here's another one, which is much a heavier head, a rounder head. Depending on the style that you want it, that's more an actual taper. This is more muddler head like. But it's, as I say, it's up to you what way you like it. But I hope you enjoyed that.